Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Poker Showdown, brought to you by Party Poker. I'm your host, Jaime Staples. Interesting conversation I had with BetOnDrew this week, Drew Gonzales. I think you guys are really going to like it. He's lived an amazing life over the last couple of years and done quite a lot. His life has changed in a huge way. And it was really interesting to ask him about all of that and what the experience has been like. There's Lounge 10, living the Virgin Islands, playing the World Series of Poker main event, living in a stream house in Vancouver, Canada right now with John Party and Arlie Shaban. I mean, it was just an awesome conversation. So make sure you stick around for that. But before we get to that, let's get into some of the latest online poker news. First up, we got to talk about Bill Perkins. A good friend of mine is next up in the Phil Galfond Challenge. Now, they've already started actually playing this series, and Bill Perkins went up on the first day. But Galfond coming back from a 900,000 euro deficit to win the challenge against Veni Vidi. Pretty incredible. So the challenge with Bill Perkins, first to notch up 400,000 euros, is going to win the challenge. If neither player hits the target in 50,000 hands, then the leader at that stage will be confirmed the winner. So that is a lot of hands, but 400,000 up, that's going to happen before those 50,000 hands, I think. So there's a side bet of $1 million posted by Galfond and 250,000 by Perkins. So I think a pretty awesome side bet situation here, 4-to-1 odds. I think I still give the edge to Galfond, especially coming off that huge success that he had against Veni Vidi. But, you know, 400,000 is not that much money. Like variance in Omaha, Bill could pick up a quick €1 million here. This would be all right. You can follow all the action on this on Party Poker, as well as it's streaming live on Twitch. Phil Galfond's doing a lot of streaming and stuff, so you can check it out there. Moving on to some of the live poker news, which obviously is not happening live, particularly at the moment. A lot of this happening online. First, Pablo Brito Silva won the Irish Open Poker main event. The Brazilian came on top of a field of 2,945 entrants. The top prize was 462,000 euros. 6 different countries were represented at the 8-handed final table. Brito was heads up against Hungary's András Nemeth, who won 325,000 euros. Heads up battle saw plenty of bluffs and bet sizing, with the lead changing hands several times. First ever online version of the event, and this follows Brito's win in the Party Poker Live Millions South American main event in February. So quite a heater there. I loved this Irish Open online. I thought it was spectacular, amazing. I really enjoyed, you know, like the 3 or 4 events a day. There was some real prestige, and it really meant a lot. So I didn't win the series, but I cashed the main event, which was cool, and I got, I think, 11th in the $320 six max. So I was pretty happy with my performance, and can't wait for the next online series, which they're coming up. WPT Online, Poker Masters is going on right now if you're a high roller. So very excited about that. Now into some Party Poker news. As you've probably heard by now, superstar comedian and actor Kevin Hart partners with Party Poker. Comedian has been friends with Party Poker's partner Rob Young for a considerable amount of time. Having supported the developments of the game for several years, Kevin is a genuine poker enthusiast who truly understands what the game means to millions of others worldwide. Kevin will bring his unwavering passion and dedication to the cause in helping to develop the game further as a partner for Party Poker. Kevin said, "I'm here to party. I'm here to make it a good time. It's a community game, and I'm big on community. I'm big on people." More details on Kevin's partnership with Party Poker will be revealed in the near future, and you may see him appear on this show soon. That's true. How crazy is that? Like, interviewing Kevin Hart? Guys, I don't even know how to interview people. I'm still figuring that out. I'm going to be talking to Kevin Hart on the podcast. I need some tips. Let me know. Super happy to see Party Poker host this NHS charity tournament. I wasn't able to see the total prize, but maybe the editor can pop that on the screen right there. Half of that prize pool going directly to the NHS. So I thought a fantastic thing to do. Thanks to Party Poker for putting it on, and thanks to the NHS and all the healthcare professionals all around the world, whether you're in the UK or you know, in Europe or in North America, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are, thanks to everyone for doing what they can in this difficult time. But now, after we're through the news, let's get into the interview with Drew Gonzales. Incredible conversation. I think an incredible person and someone that's clearly going to go places. He's already in places, but he's going to continue to go to them. So without further ado, Drew Gonzales. This week, joining me on the podcast, I have a legend of the Twitch space, Thirst Lounge participant, all-around good guy, Drew Gonzales. Drew, thanks for joining me on the show.
Jamie, thanks for having me. This is super cool.
So your life has been pretty crazy over the last year and a half, 2 years. Like we've seen you in a lot of projects on Twitch. Really excited to have you on. I wanted to start with the Thirst Lounge, a project I sort of saw come to fruition. I thought was so crazy and so cool. So if you wouldn't mind, share with me again and the audience that might not have heard of the project, what exactly was the Thirst Lounge?
Wow, what exactly was the Thirst Lounge? Buddy, that was the question going in. And it was crazy. I can still to this day remember seeing the audition video, you and Jeff, like we need submissions, Bill Perkins, Thirst Lounge. And it was so much hype because going into it, of course, we think Streamboat.
Yeah.
1, 2, of course, the two didn't pop off, but
Hurricane for two. Yeah, that was a tough one.
yeah,
But playing poker on a boat was an amazing novelty to me at the time.
I
So
know.
yeah. Anyways.
Well, that was so cool. So going into it, it was a lot of excitement. Bill Perkins, that's really cool. But basically, for those of you who don't know what the Thirst Lounge project is, Thirst Lounge is Bill Perkins' Twitch channel that he was running for a while, high stakes cash games on the boat. And then he slowed down with the streaming and decided, hey, let's have, some other people run the channel. And I submitted my video. And at first they were looking for one host, but then they ended up going with 10.
Mm,
And it was like, oh my gosh, this is mayhem. This is crazy.
yeah.
And then before I knew it, we were it was like February of last year. We were all on a plane down to, I think initially there was like 6 or 7 of us, but on a plane down to the Virgin Islands to stay in this like house we've never seen before. It was like some mansion we're like overlooking into the Caribbean and like just these like fairy tale things happening. It's like, oh, my assistant would do this and all this. It was a different world.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy opportunity, but got to stream on Bill's channel, got to attempt to stream from the boat multiple times. And it's given me so much, man. It was a crazy experience. The resources that Bill and the people, like, I mean, just even from the start, you and Jeff, like getting to talk and learn and just be guided, even throughout the year, John and I were talking about it just like earlier this morning. It's like, can you believe that we were actually just like living on the island for like a year? It's like, what was that?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was so crazy to think about. You hit on something interesting with Bill, I think specifically, which is that's really how the project came about. I remember talking about it with him and Jeff Gross, Bill Perkins, Jeff Gross, and an old colleague of mine named May. And we were kind of just like spitballing about Twitch stuff, like interesting Twitch things. And it turned into this project. And then it just actually happened. Like it's amazing being around Bill with these creative ideas because you'll spitball and then that's usually where it ends for most people. They're like, oh, wouldn't that be cool? And then it just happens within like a week. We've got a challenge going and like 10 people are going to the island. Just insane, dude. The whole thing. So
Very Bill. Very
yeah,
Bill.
very much. So I wanted to ask about living on the island for a year. I've been down there before. Pretty crazy to spend time on an island like that for an extended period of time. So what were like the best parts of living down there on the island, and then what were the worst parts or the parts you didn't expect would perhaps be difficult?
So I would say the best parts of like living on the island and that whole experience is a year of no expenses. We had like a food budget, and then the house is all paid for, like whatever you need to stream and make stuff happen. So that was definitely that was a really cool part. The best part I would say is the experience with the other hosts. You know what I mean? Kind of the
Mm.
the bond, like you're all thrown into this same experience. Nobody knows what's going on, and then it's like a lot of questions. So you kind of latch together, and it's like, yo, we got to figure this out. Like, what's going on? That is the best. I'll remember that the most. And of course, I'm living with John now, so him and I got really close, among others. But the worst part of living on the island is you're like on an island. There's these roads are like not even barely meant to be driven on. They're like so tiny and weird, and you kind of can't like just, oh, I'm gonna go walk to this, or I'm gonna go do this. It's very like you get island fever. Like we were for the whole year, the majority that we were down there, it's like you're in this house looking at the same people, like running this stream, and then you have to create content. And island fever is a thing. You like go crazy. You can't even look at the same people. You go outside, and it's just you just get really, really stir crazy.
Yeah,
It's for sure a thing.
I believe it, man. Yeah, I 100% believe that. It's not a big place down there, the Virgin Islands. It's not exactly huge, so I hear you,
No,
man.
not at all. And then too, with the island fever, some of, depending on the day somebody else is having, we had some days where there's like some stuff that is kind of like on the cutting room floor, but like we might be able to like do some movie someday. If Bill
Right.
hears that with like some of the behind the scenes stuff that maybe people didn't see. And like, sometimes when it was like a reality TV show, we had John with the Big Brother winner. We had Adam with the Survivor winner, and then we just had all these different personalities. And I actually remember to like people are going to be playing games and like feeling each other out, and there's a lot of kind of that goes on when you put together just like a huge group of random people and force them into a spot like a reality show.
Right. Yeah. When we were picking entrants for us, reality stars, or people that had been through the vetting of reality show, were just like an easy, like we know that's gonna be good for the Thirst Lounge and like entertainment because they've been through it, man. Like celebrity people that have been on reality shows, they've been through the ringer of being selected. And like, yeah, you're gonna be interesting to watch.
Mhm.
So there was some drama behind the. Was there drama? Is that fair to say?
There was definitely, buddy, there was definitely some drama behind the scenes, man. I cannot think of one person who did not come into drama last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish there
I
was a
can't.
reality show aspect to this where we could see the drama and like just the
I'm telling you,
fights and yeah.
just need to tell Bill. It's like, Bill, look, we can reenact this. I don't care who reenacts, whatever. It's like, I'll tell you everything. I was there. Me and I think Maddie Forsyth were the ones and John. We were the top three that spent the most time on the island. So we've
Mhm.
kind of seen all of it. Brando was close, but he came into the project later.
Mhm.
As far as, he saw a lot of it too. It was crazy, buddy.
I'm gonna have to talk to you sometime about that off podcast and hear some of these
Yeah.
stories. Um, so what was the highlight of the year in terms of, because you guys aren't living there anymore, like it's not actively happening, right?
Yeah.
So sort of looking back, what do you think the highlight of that project was, specifically like with streaming and stuff with your guys' channel?
I would say with the Thirst Lounge channel, the highlight, and I hate to think of something with myself, I was trying, I want to, there's a thought I have with John and the Venom, but like as far as our biggest viewership moment and everything, when I got auto bought into the 10K, it was a Power Fest event. It was like a Thursday, and there were people who were flying into the island, and I was streaming that day. And I was like, let me see if I could get a sweat. There's going to be a bunch of us. Bill's on the island. And I played this 1K Sadie because somebody in chat, some random person I've never seen before, and this has happened twice,
Mm.
they came and was like, oh, you should play this satellite. There's overlay. I was like, overlay?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. I was like kind of riding high. This was I was already kind of on an upswing. I had just got fairly recently before this, second next to Dramatic Degen in a 50K Power Fest. No, it wasn't a Power Fest. It was there was another series that happened before that. So I was like trending up, and I was like, all right, whatever. And I got in this 1K Sadie, and for the sweat when everyone arrives, and I ended up winning it. It was crazy. And it was cool because they were on the way back from the airport, and Brando was with him. So we got some footage of Drew just satellited into this 10K. Let's go. And then everybody was pumped, but it auto-regged me because I'm not used to playing, any offshore sites. And I was like, there's not a 10K running on a Thursday.
Right.
I was like, I'll just play this on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. And then it auto-regis me, and then I'm thrown into like my first 10K ever. not prepared, and like I had a moment of like panic. I was like, and then I like reset, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, just you have nothing to lose, literally. And we ended up final tabling it. We ended up having over 4,000 viewers, which was crazy because then I won a 20K bankroll challenge or bankroll booster from Bill.
Right.
We had to get somebody had to hold and organically get up over 2,000 viewers and hold for 2 hours. And that 10K run gave me that. So I had like the 41K score when I finished 8th at that final table. And then I got a 20K bankroll boost. So it was kind of like a pretty sick day. And yeah, that's the most memorable for myself. And I think as far as streaming goes.
I remember that too. I remember everyone sitting behind you deep in that run, right? Yeah, that was a special moment, man. That's really cool.
It was so sick. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, dude. That's a thing. What about I just want to ask you quickly about Bill Perkins' Galfond challenge going down right now. What do you think? Like, obviously you're close with Bill, but Galfond is a goat at PLO. Like, where's your head at on it? What do you think about it?
It's crazy. I'll tell you this. After what Phil did with Venny, the comeback and everything,
yeah,
it's like, and then, Bill and them, you know how Bill is, like, oh, I can play. It's like, boom, okay, great, everyone. They're playing, like, hurry up, get out of bed, and and then get at it. But I was going to put up a tweet, and I was, like, wanting to cheer for Bill, obviously. And I was like, oh, dang, I don't want to root against Phil either.
I know.
It was tough, but I had to, like, come on, buddy, push through, click send. And, I was for sure rooting for Bill. And then I was happy to see Bill immediately, just start trending up. He ended up, I think, like 1,600. So I'm for sure rooting for Bill, but I know Bill and none of the Thirst Lounge people are going to be like upset if like Phil wins.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to root against Phil Galfond in anything. Like, I just don't understand. How would you do it? Like, he's just too special of a guy. He just pulled off the greatest comeback in poker history in front of everyone.
So sick, man.
Everyone was telling him to quit too. Like, the poker industry, people were like, "You suck," and he stuck it out and crushed it, man. It's crazy.
I know that there's odds on this Phil v. Bill, and maybe if Bill ends up calling on some of the Thirst Lounge people, I know was like a Bill and the Thirst Lounge. I don't know if Bill will, but I think it's 4-1 odds, right? You think Bill, with a little momentum here and there, can maybe pull this off, or what?
I'd give more to Galfond. I'd give more to Galfond than 4-1. I would. I want Bill to win. I mean, Bill's been hugely influential in my life. I think Galfond would be okay if he lost, but I got to give Galfond a bigger edge. I do.
Yeah, I think a lot of us feel that, but there's a part of us for sure. It's like, Bill, come on, sun run, just for another 15,000 hands.
Yeah, absolutely. So going forward, what is the plan with the Thirst Lounge? Like, you guys aren't living there anymore, so is the project sort of continuing loosely as a group, or are you guys all gone your separate ways, or?
I would say, so Valentine's Day of this year, so like 2 months ago almost exactly, is when our contract with the Thirst Lounge ended for that first year. And we've done some like minor things, but I think it's kind of just like floating around right now. And people ask me all the time, when's Thirst Lounge season 2? What's going on? And I tell them the same thing. I was like, look, Thirst Lounge 2 could happen tomorrow. It depends like how much time Bill has to like think about it. Because even when the Thirst Lounge was happening, I remember like after like a month, Bill had a graphic up on his Twitter, Thirst Lounge Canada, what do you think?
I remember that, yeah. Franchising,
you know what I mean?
already. Yeah.
Anything with Bill, anything can happen. So I feel like with everything that's going on now, if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna happen very similar to the way it happened last year. I don't think anything would happen until the end of the year. If there's gonna do like a season 2, because Bill's also kind of thrown around the idea there on Twitter about like giving 10 people $100K or 2 people $1 million stake and doing something. I don't know if he would package that with the Thirst Lounge, but no one knows. No one knows is the answer, I feel like. And Bill doesn't know yet either, but you never know. He'll just like pop off.
Open-ended. Stay tuned. I like it.
Yeah,
that's a good
for sure.
It's a good cliffhang. One of the things I saw sort of leading up to this is World Series of Poker. You went to play during the year. You played the World Series of Poker main event. What was that experience like? Was your first? Was it your first main event? I think it was.
Yep, first main event.
So what was the feeling like playing that tournament?
So Bill put me in that, in that tournament and stuff. Like Thirst Lounge literally gave me so many opportunities last year. It was wild. I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be some semi-baller and, play these tournaments and do all this stuff. And playing the main event, Bill gave me confidence actually going into that. When I was talking to him about it, I was thinking about playing it, but I don't want to use my Thirst Lounge bankroll or anything. And I remember he just gave me a very positive response, like, you've done well with the project, mentioned integrity or something, to me. It's like, you seem like you have good integrity, let's do it. And that kind of started me off on the right foot, because then I had no pressure. I know the money is not like Bill's got 20K in the bank account, he's giving me 10. Right, it's because of who he was, I was able to really enjoy the experience, because it was super hype. And then even that tournament is just different. Yes. Literally, it's crazy how to think it's actually different. But you sit there, it's slower. People have an energy about them. Everybody's it's the poker Super Bowl. There's something different, man. It's magical. It's silly. And I hear people say it. And then until last year when I was sitting there and I'm day 1, day 2, I made day 3. And it's this is crazy. Mm. And I actually have a funny story I want to tell you about the main event, my bust out. Okay. So it was such a cool experience. But on my bust out, well, actually the night before, Brando and I were at our B&B, and we were just being silly. It's I need to practice my flips. So what we did, was we were dealing some hands. It was pocket 8s versus ace king. Okay. And we were just dealing flops, practicing my flips. And what I was doing, I was guessing. I was okay, this flop I want 8s, this flop I want ace king, just silly stuff. But it was 8s versus ace king. Day 3, I go back the very next day. I go out 8s versus ace king.
Oh my God, man.
It was so crazy. I was no way. I was Brando, you're not going to believe how I busted it. We practiced this spot all last night.
So did you use the luck, or did you just not pick up the lessons in the practice? What happened?
I'm still trying to figure it out. We've been talking about it for a year now.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that tournament. Is man, there is something about it, because it's a poker cliche. If you ask a poker player, oh, how are the games? Oh, they're good, man. They're so soft. Games are really good right now. This tournament's great. You hear it and you just kind of brush it off. Yeah, okay, every tournament's great. People say it about the main events, and you're all right, 10K buy-in, it's probably fun. It's actually pretty insane. It's pretty good how every table seems to have 3 or 4 guys that qualified from their home game league, somewhere in the Midwest, and they've come down and they got their representative. It's everyone's hometown hero is there to try and live the dream.
Yeah,
it's so special, man. There's nothing else like it.
It's so cool. And well, I was gonna say I hope I get to play it again this year, but we'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to getting into that again and positioning myself. Well, now I don't even know, the PSPC might not happen, but that happened last year too. I won that pass.
Oh, there you go, man. So that's a thing, but I guess that's probably up in there as well in terms of will that happen. So yeah, what do you think going forward in your poker career? I mean, you've already accomplished a lot in terms of experiences. You've done these amazing things that people set out to do in their poker life. So what is it that you're working towards with your poker career, and what would you like to accomplish?
It's interesting because I feel like I don't necessarily have this big urge or drive as I need to play the highest stakes. I need to beat the best people and stuff like that. I feel at the core of me, what I'm still very I enjoy almost thinking that I'm a recreational player. I enjoy the idea of I can still have fun playing poker and not be too hard, or I still study. I was studying before we got on the call here, but I just want to be I almost feel like I want to say, like, when it comes to poker, I want to be well rehearsed so that I can educate people to like a certain level and enjoy the game to a certain level.
Mm,
But I don't necessarily, want to be the next Fedor. I just don't think that's my path.
mm,
Do you get what I mean? I
yeah.
feel like I've, over the last 3, 4 years, kind of evolved into, I used to be poker player that streams to now streamer that plays poker.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like my current direction a bit.
That makes sense. I think there's a lot of people in Twitch poker that sort of jostle with that question of,
Hmm.
because it's not a fun thing to really have this like life pursuit and passion and then kind of like shift it in a way. So I remember
Hmm.
having a lot of fear in my life about spending so much time streaming and giving up on sort of becoming Fedor. But uh, it does seem like there's a lot of success available if you take that path. Like there's the options and the opportunities taking that road as opposed to like trying to increase your ROI are pretty open and fluid. So um, yeah, that's cool, man. And what about your Twitch channel? Like, what are your plans with your channel coming back after the Thirst Lounge and sort of like getting back on there consistently? Um, yeah.
So, well, after the Thirst Lounge, I, of course, just big decline and stuff like that, viewers and then subs and all that stuff. I felt like I was rebuilding from the start. So when I got to Canada in November, I my main focus was rebuild the stream, get a schedule out, put in the hours, and continue to. I mean, at this point, coming out of the Thirst Lounge or coming towards the end of the project, I'm kind of thinking like, what's next? Because going to the project, the Thirst Lounge, and living down on the island, it's kind of easy for me. I was like at the tail end of a big breakup and like starting my life over. I had nothing. I stayed in California for a year just waiting to see what was next. I wasn't streaming much because I had to get a job.
Mm.
And then when the Thirst Lounge opportunity happened, I had no expenses. I had just told my roommate, I was like, hey, I'm going to be gone, do whatever with the room. I gave up where I was living to live there. So finding or being able to live with John and Arlie here in Canada was huge. But then I also had to like figure out what's next. And the only thing I knew to do was rebuild my Twitch stream
Mm.
and like just put in the hours. And then, I guess one of my initial goals was like, hey, maybe this is a good time to try to really increase my numbers and then try to get like a sponsorship. Like I have to pay bills again. It was like, it was so
Yeah.
nice last year with no bills.
Yeah. Absolutely, that makes sense. Well, it seems like you have a great project going right now with John Party and Arlie Shaban. I mean, that's quite a trio, man, living in a stream house. So,
Hmm.
do you guys like? Do you talk Twitch strat? Do you talk poker strat? Or are you guys kind of just like normal roommates, but you stream? Like, what's the deal?
The dynamic in the house is like this. So it's very strategic because both of these guys were on Big Brother. So that's funny. That's kind of like, I think, what a lot of people would assume. But
Right.
then now the other part, it's these guys are like reality TV stars and like everything's very strategic.
Right.
When we're talking about Twitch, it's all very, very super strategic. Like I've been very strategic. Like I enjoy that stuff, but until getting put into a situation here with both of them where we get to talk about it, like they're super strategic, even with some of
Mm.
these bets. Like this one bet right now that's going on, it is hilarious. I need to do like a vlog or something with what they're doing because there's a lot of moments of somebody will come and like probe me and ask me questions like, where was he? Like how long has he been gone?
Right.
And they're like faking like they're leaving and not leaving. It is so funny, these two. But yes, everything is very strategic. Anything we talk about is just okay. Well, what's a good strat? Even if we're talking about eating dinner, it's
Right.
like, well, what's a good strat here? Well, what time are you waking up? And it's fun. It is super super fun.
That's I wish I could be a fly on the wall. I wish there was a camera in the wall. Is Streamhouse Canada version 6 or something now, and I could just watch the dynamic because it sounds like a lot of fun, man. Sounds
People
crazy.
would love it. I'd be down to just get me some cameras. I'll throw them up here. I'll let them
Yeah.
know, like, hey guys, there's cameras in the house. Like, whatever, Drew, and then we'll
Yeah.
be off.
That's perfect, dude. I remember actually what you're saying about the strategic stuff. I often use Arlie as an example of a good way to like infuse yourself into the Twitch community because
Mhm.
he was in hindsight so strategic about developing like a base of people interested in him. Um, and he for about 4 or 5 months on Twitter was just like the poker community's cheerleader. He was just
Uh-huh.
like every time I send out a tweet of like, oh, I had a good day, he'd be like, congratulations, Jamie, that's awesome, man. Like your stream's going great, and I'd be like, thanks, Arlie. Every day I was reading Arlie Shaman, and everyone was, and then he started streaming, started catching the
Mhm.
hosts. PokerStars decided to do like an 8 month challenge with the guy. Uh, man, I saw that strategy. I was like, that guy killed it. He went from no channel to like everyone knows his name. He's getting hosts, and like now he's a signed guy. Like quickly, he's good, man. He's good.
Buddy, he's so good. That was all, like, I've heard the stories. Like, that was all super, very strategic. Every little, he's the most strategic person.
Yeah,
Him and Kmart are the two most strategic people that I've ever like hung out with.
yeah.
Like ever. Like Arlie, like what you're saying, that is actually hilarious to me. I can't wait to tell him that, like, obviously the people who get it, get it. Like, you
Mm,
saw what he was doing and it was good, but he like very consciously, he had a plan coming into Twitch for like 2 years
yeah.
before he even, like,
He knew it.
you know,
He knew it,
it's
dude.
great. It's fantastic, dude. I've learned so much from him.
The reality TV crossover. I think it's just. I know that with Kevin too. Living with Kevin, like it was the same thing. I see him tweet about Mario Party, so I'm sure you guys play a bit of Mario Party, like a couple
He
battles.
won our first league. We had a league before the coronavirus. He set it up. He was the commissioner. Everything was boom boom in line, and he ran really good to beat Arlie in the championship. I was in the championship.
Mm.
John was not. Right, John? And it was fun. But Kevin, actually, it came down to the last roll. Arlie had an 80% chance to win the season, and he had a bad roll. And then Kevin won, and now we'll never hear the end of it.
Wow, that's a big sweat. It's a big sweat.
Yeah.
So, looking back over the crazy experiences and the one you're living right now, what do you think the biggest takeaway is for yourself and like your career going forward? The biggest thing you've learned over your experiences.
The biggest thing I've learned over my experiences, especially the last 2 years, I'm very passionate about telling people, even with this triple threat challenge we have, I've been super passionate about telling people, like, I felt an overwhelming amount of like fear come over me when I saw the Thirst Lounge audition video come out. I
Mm,
remember exactly where I was. I remember what web page, what monitor my web page was on. I looked at it and I got this sinking feeling. It was like, don't do this, like, be scared. But I was just in a certain moment in my life where I say it like this, like, fear means go, right? So I knew that whatever happens, it doesn't matter. I know I just need to do this. So I'm huge. And the last 2 years, it has reminded me to not let your fears deter you from growing or accomplishing new things and giving life a chance to happen. It's been the biggest thing. And it all started with that video audition. One of the ones, I don't know if it was a Jamie or Jeff one that came across my browser there, but I know you guys had a few of them that you were circulating. But that is the biggest thing, because had I not put in that video, had I not asked if Bill wanted to put me in the main, had I not kind of taken like a leadership role during the Thirst Lounge, like there was a bunch of opportunities where I could have just been my normal introverted self and just, waited for something to happen, or
mm.
like, oh, I'm scared. I hate flying, but I had to do so much flying last year.
Yeah.
Like, that was another thing that I'm just like, push, Drew. Like, don't not want to go to Vegas for the summer because you have to fly again, or don't not want to go to Costa Rica because you have to fly again. So conquering fears, like, that is a thing of mine now.
That's awesome, man. I love to
It's the
hear it.
biggest thing I've learned. Got to conquer them.
That's good stuff. I think that's a great message. I want to touch on this triple threat challenge as well between John Party, yourself, and Ebony Kenny. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what's the deal with this challenge? What's going on? What
Mm-hmm.
do people need to tune into?
Oh, buddy, I'm so excited about this. So this challenge is John, Ebony, and I's way of almost like giving back. In the way I look at things, like, this triple threat challenge is us like honoring the experience that we had with the Thirst Lounge. It's like we're taking that and repackaging it in a different way, and then giving people like little glimpses of what we had. So we got so this challenge, it started off, or it is now basically, we are looking for 6 people. We are actually going to do a live announcement this coming Wednesday, the 22nd, I think it is. Yeah. We're going to do a live announcement for who the 6 people are that are chosen. And then once we have those 6 people, we're going to break them up into 3 teams: Team Drew, Team Ebony, and Team Party. And then we're going to compete in a bunch of poker and content creation challenges and some other things. And they're going to be able to earn points month over month. And then at the end of 4 months, there's going to be a team that wins the grand prize of 10K. But there's going to be a bunch of stuff that happens along the way, like mini challenges, surprise challenges. John, Ebony, and I are going to have some challenges that we do with each other to earn our team points. And it's just going to revolve around, we're going to have like weekly shows and different segments. And we have a lot of surprises for these people. And buddy, it's really, really cool. I feel super fortunate to be able to, I don't want to say administer this game, but like to be a part of it from this angle and to like see what this experience potentially could do for these 6 people that are going to get dropped into it. Like I would love for some sleeper story, you know, when you expect, and he comes up and boom, 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 and he makes a name for himself, and then he goes and does something really fun and incredible with, you know, the poker community. So I can only hope for that. But I know audition, it's so tough. We're going through them now. I don't know how you guys did it, buddy. It was so hard.
It is ruthless
watching all the
like
videos.
cut people, man. We had to phone call for you guys too. Like we had to phone call, you know, like 20 people and talk to them and then just be like, you didn't make it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if you guys are doing that, but it's awful, dude. It's terrible.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But it's really cool.
Someone's gonna win, you know?
I was just going to say this triple threat challenge is really cool because there's going to be a bunch of different elements. There's almost like with the teams, the ultimate fighter element. And we're making YouTube videos as well. So you're getting some behind the scenes stuff with us. So you can kind of follow it that way. And then there's also like this, the voice element with the coaches and some of the things that we're going to do. We're going to have some special guests on and stuff like that. And we've already told them, you know, they're getting some training membership for the entirety of the project and some special coaching, but there's other special people that are going to come along, say hello, pop in, give some advice. And yeah, so it's going to be really fun, man. I'm so excited.
That's great. So where can people follow along with this project? Like where can they keep up with what's happening?
We have a website. It's triplethreat.tv.
Okay.
It will have our current, most recent YouTube video up on that page. It's going to have like challenge details. And once we announce the teams next week, it's going to have a leaderboard. So people will be able to reference all the information, follow the socials, see the teams. And yeah, we're going to keep pushing it because all 3 of us are going to be streaming all the time. Every week, we're going to have at least one YouTube video that comes out. And that we are going to have these contestants like vlog their journey too. So we're going to build up, you know, their characters so that people can choose. Like I see plenty of scenarios where we have like Team Drew t-shirts, Team Party, and then like people are just like, you know, gathering around their team. And there's, oh my gosh, buddy, there's so many things. I'm getting off track. It's so exciting. I'm thinking about it nonstop every day.
I'm going to follow, dude. I'm going to follow. I like the challenge. I like the idea. I'm going to sweat it. I'm going to bookmark the page and I'm going to pull it up. I like it. It's a good idea.
Sweet.
It's a good idea. And how about for yourself? If people want to follow along with your journey, you know, it's crazy to look back, man. But I also think like this is 2 years, and I know like Drew is going places. He's doing things. So where can people follow you as you progress forward in your career?
So I am pretty active on Twitter. That is my main like kind of social media communication, and everything is BetOnDrew. So Twitter would be twitter.com/BetOnDrew. And then I'm streaming 4 or 5 days a week consistently on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/BetOnDrew. And so those are my 2 like main, if you're on there or there, like you're going to catch me 4 or 5 times a week. I'm always talking about like whatever's going on and grinding.
Great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Drew, thanks so much for taking the time and chatting with me today. I look forward to checking out this project, and congratulations on everything that's happened over the last several years, dude. It's awesome to see, and I'm excited for the future.
Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. This has been super fun, and thanks too for your part that you played, like you and Jeff, you know, kind of seeing the things, because I know you guys had your hand in the Thirst Lounge experience in a bunch of little ways, but that experience I'm always going to give credit to, because it has opened my mind and my opportunities. And oh wait, my Thirst Lounge tattoo. I want to show you.
Let's see it. Yeah,
real quick. So when I got to the Thirst Lounge, I only had a couple things, right?
Yeah.
And then now I've got a little bit more, but I'm very much so like a storyteller, and my tattoos kind of tell a story. So I knew for how big Thirst Lounge was to me that I had to get something to commemorate that. And this is it here. So what this is you could see kind of, this is like the Thirst Lounge gave me like new life, you know, a new sunrise.
Right.
And then down here is like the beach, and then this is kind of looking out into the Caribbean, you know, from the islands. Like this is that memory. And then I have, you know, Bill's big thing is the diamond and stuff. And I felt like, you know, that diamond in the rough example, like so much has changed from this. And of course the palm trees, we were in the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. So
I love the tattoos, dude. I'm sure we could do a whole podcast on just the tattoos. I see the Twitch logo on there. I think you see the thing pink. Like
Twitch has been huge. When I went through my big breakup, my Twitch community showed up for me in ways that I can't even tell you. Like they gave me life-changing opportunities to people who would watch my stream. One guy who I'm really good friends with now offered to help me move across the country, gave me a job, a car, and everything to like start over. It was like a movie.
Wow.
And that was my Twitch community. When I drove cross country, I streamed IRL. People were donating for gas, and they've been there for me in ways that I can only honor, you know?
That's insane, dude. Someone's got to tell that story. Have you ever written about that, or like done an interview about that whole thing?
I've talked about it before, but buddy, the last 2 years between the Thirst Lounge and what I went through with my breakup and like starting a new life, everything, like I've got some stories. I don't know where that kind of comes to fruition. I guess Bill's in production. Maybe I'll tell Bill, like, hey, Bill, I got kind of a cool story.
Yeah, Bill writes now. Bill writes, yeah. That sounds amazing, dude. I'd love to hear more about that, but I got to keep this short for the editors who are editing at home and downloading on their home internet. I saw a bit on one of the late night shows about how, you know, the situation in the world right now, everyone working from home, it's exposed the inequality in internet speeds. Like some people just are not up to snuff. Like they didn't realize, you know, when you got to do more on Facebook at home, it's tough.
Yeah.
so yeah, but Drew, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for chatting with me, and let's speak again soon.
Definitely. Appreciate it, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Big thanks to BetOnDrew for coming on the podcast this week. That was an awesome conversation. Really enjoyed talking with you, my friend. Before I let you all go, we have to do our hashtag JSPokerHero competition, where one of you are going to win a $215 Party Poker Million ticket. Now, the competition for this week is kind of an interesting one. What I want you to guess and tweet out using the hashtag JSPokerHero is how many entrants are going to be in Poker Masters event number 24. Now, this is a $10,300 buy-in. It's a $500,000 guaranteed. The first to guess the correct answer, and only one guess per person, is going to win that $215 Party Poker Million ticket. So that's the competition this week. Big congrats again to our winner last week, which was I'm Your Bluff. There it is. Correctly guessing the winner of the Irish Spoken main event from Brazil. So he wins a ticket. You are the podcast representative this week. Best of luck in the million. I hope you win the thing, my friend. Thank you all so much for watching the show. Really appreciate it. But until next week, we'll see you later.